Hello interwebs, I'm Eric and welcome to TheLooneyTurtle. What hasn't already been said about the history of Equestria?
Well...
Don't answer that. The show keeps adding more and more pages to the history book, but it doesn't make an effort to connect the events. This is my way of piecing it together, taking my views on the information already presented in the show with partial exposure to the comics. Times and dates are never established, so we'll refer to these specific time periods as ages. From what we know, the earliest bit of equestrian history was Hearth swarming Eve. A lot of people take this romanticized reenactment as the 100% true story about the founding of Equestria, but it's not. Entirely. In almost every play that's based on a true story, a few facts are left out or completely changed. For example, when you're getting frozen alive, would you be arguing with others, or would you be freaking out because you're getting frozen alive? Some of the events in this play are just too unreal, so we shouldn't take this play as the exact way things historically happened. In any event, this is a starting point for the history of Equestria, so let's mark that down on the timeline. There's a small bit from the show that could connect to the beginning of this age. In Hearts and Hooves Day, Sweetie Belle mentions,
well, there's something here about a dragon, the kingdom falling, chaos reigning.
Chaos reigning. If I were to jump to assumptions, that sounds a lot like Discord. But what about the dragon? Some theorize that this is talking about Discord himself, but look at this image. Does he look like a dragon? Well, if you're only looking at the tail, then yes, but most of Discord's body is all types of animals. And furthermore, chaos is not caused by one being, but in fact a group as a whole. For those who have never looked up the definition of Discord, it's when there's complete disorder and confusion. If your rulers are useless and a dragon attacks your kingdom...
Okay, apparently it was all because the prince and princess were so lost in each other's eyes that they couldn't perform their royal duties.
There is going to be disorder and confusion, so for me, this word and the sighting of a dragon doesn't point directly at Discord. It might be talking about an event during the Age of Strife or maybe later in the timeline, so for now, I'm gonna keep it out of the timeline. Regardless of how this age began, Celestia said she defeated Discord a long time ago.
Someone I thought I had defeated long ago has returned.
That alone doesn't tell us where the age began, so time for speculation. Before Hearth swarming Eve is unlikely, so how about before the three pony races moved to Equestria?
But they founded Equestria in the play, and that just wouldn't make sense.
A small detail you may have overlooked is how the entire pony race didn't go to Equestria. It was just the leaders and assistants. They had to go back and get the other ponies to live in Equestria, so maybe before they officially moved, Discord came into power. His reign could have started sometime before Celestia and Luna's birth, or before they became alicorns. What we know for sure is that Celestia and Luna have time to get tired of him, and they try to defeat him. This leads them to the Tree of Harmony, where they gather up the elements and turn him to stone. For this occasion, the earliest known alicorns are claimed the leaders of Equestria.
Making it so this flag's not an animation oversight.
Or, you know, it could have happened after Hearth swarming Eve, but in both situations, there's no clear amount of time for his reign, and Celestia and Luna came into power beginning... During this age, the ponies of Equestria create laws restricting certain types of magic and ensuring the everlasting peace. During a good portion of this period, Celestia and Luna lived in the castle of the Royal Pony Sisters, cleverly placed near the Tree of Harmony. The sisters also might have eliminated any immediate threats. Not many of these threats are known, but near the end they dealt with King Sombra. Luna was at the banishing of Sombra, so their banishments might have been the same year, but when you think about time, it's easier to round. Maybe Celestia, the books, and the show as a whole is giving a guesstimation opposed to real time. Sombra's banishment could have been a few years before Luna's, or maybe a couple of weeks, but we can never know for sure. The show tells us that over time Luna felt resentment towards Celestia, which leads to her combining with the Nightmare Forces and getting imprisoned on the moon. Sometime afterwards, Celestia moved to Canterlot, perhaps because Discord's vine started growing, or maybe because it wasn't the same without her dear sister Luna. Something that we know for sure is that after Luna's banishment, Celestia needed protective forces. This led to the protective pony platoons being formed with a subgroup titled the Earth Unicorn Pegasi Guard, better known as the EUP. At first it was one united force, but over time it led to some leap squadrons like the Wonderbolts. I'm convinced that the protective pony platoons is a militant-like force because it was formed to protect Celestia, and any pony can join regardless of race. We have some noteworthy people during this time, like General Firefly, who led the Wonderbolts at the first centennial year of peace, and later came up with the name that Dash knows oh so well. Later in time, Commander Easy Glider established the Wonderbolt's flight choreography. Must have been a good formation, because they still use it today. To conclude this period, Nightmare Moon returns, beginning... This period takes place during the entirety of the show because we're introduced to historical foes and 2 new princesses.
Luna doesn't count. She existed in the Age of Reform.
Like I said before, we don't know how long each period was, so the Age of Reform could have been dragged out for a while, making it so Celestia and Luna were in power for a long time before Luna's banishment. Perhaps they're getting tired and ready to return their necklaces to the Tree of Harmony. Yeah, I just connected that sun and moon conveniently placed down the Tree of Harmony. They're probably there for design purposes, but I think not. Maybe before they possessed the power to control day and night, the tree did the work for them. This might explain why in the season premiere, the vines attacked Celestia and Luna, but not Cadence and Twilight. They had this charm and it might have given them an unusual lifespan. If they return their necklaces to the Tree of Harmony, their lives slowly or immediately come to an end, leaving it to Twilight and Cadence to run Equestria and keep the peace. But take this as you may, the show hasn't come to an end, so most of this is speculation. There are many ways that the show can end, and I'm unsure that they'd take this route, so for now, this has been my personal take on the history of Equestria. Make sure to let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.
No more time remains.